much, or did you?
I loved Framingham. I didn't like going into Boston.
Well, from where you live, see, it's not that far from Framingham to Boston, but from where you were in Framingham, it was 15 minutes at least to the highway.
That didn't bother me as much as there was just too many people in too small a place when you got in there.
Right.
Framingham was great. I loved it. St. Bridget's Church, and we had friends. It was great.
Right.
But
were those those Red Sox teams? And now, this was more maybe late '70s, early '80s. The Red Sox teams were kind of known for not having the greatest camaraderie. Was that the case in the late '80s?
Oh, we fought a lot. It's I know I've talked about it at 810 on air. Basically, Lee Smith was the best because he would start fights just because our traveling secretary, if anybody got in a fist fight or a shoving match, hey, come on, I'm going to take all you guys out to eat. We go to a nice steak restaurant. Every time somebody get in a scuffle, well, Lee Smith was going, hey, let me start this thing so we go get free food, free steaks. It was good. I knew exactly what he was doing. But no, there was egos.
Right.
Like in every sport. There was
right.
There was more egos in Boston than there were. But look who we had. I mean, we had Hall of Famers.
Right.
I mean, everybody was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was easy to pitch there because you knew they were going to score you 6 or 7 runs.
But you pitched as well there as you did anywhere. And it's not known as a place to pitch well. And you had some of your best earned run averages.
Well, I left Baltimore, which our outfielders couldn't. If they had to take 2 steps, they couldn't catch it. It was too far for them. We had Jim Traber and Larry Sheets and Kenny Gearhart, and I'm going, that's completely different from what we used to have. And, the infield changed, and it just got different, you know. And it was if you don't have defense behind you, you're not going to win. I'm not a strikeout guy.
Right.
Right? All of a sudden, I go to Boston, and I got guys, Ellis Burks catches everything.
Right.
Dwight Evans catches everything. I got Boggs at third, and Louis Rivera at short. I mean, everybody play defense.
Right.
And you knew you didn't have to be fine because if you give up 2 runs, you weren't going to lose.
Right.
So you go after him.
Right.
First thing you see is, okay, there's a green monster back there.
Right.
It's going to take some away, and it's going to give you some.
Right.
Forget it. Pitch like you always do. Just pitch.
Were there ways you could take advantage of the hitter because maybe they were too monster conscious?
I didn't change anything, Danny, to be honest with you. I really didn't. I didn't change my approach to hitters because of the monster or the pesky pole.
Right.
Or, I knew the guys were going to catch it if I give them the opportunity. And that's, I was always a pitch to contact, man.
Right. You obviously are a great family man. And maybe, this doesn't fit in with the Major League clubhouse type of thing that often. But what would you describe the life of a father as a professional baseball player who's going to be gone half the time for 8 months a year?
Well, that's why my wife's an angel. I mean, at the time, even here, I had 4 kids.
Right.
And we never hired help.
Right.
It was... Basically, she did it, and she was amazing. She was amazing. It hurt. I missed a lot of stuff.
Right.
And even now, they get maternity leave. Guys do.
Right.
We never got maternity leave.
No.
No.
I remember when the first football player who was given the chance to take a Sunday off. It was a big deal. Or he said he was going to,
I'll tell you about my.
And that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. I'll tell you about my youngest. We're in Oakland, and my wife goes into labor with my youngest here in Kansas City. So I get the call. They run down to the clubhouse, come up, and so I got a hold of our traveling secretary, and I said, listen, I need to get home. My wife's having a baby. Okay, so he books me a red-eye out of Frisco.
Right.
I land. She's already had the baby. So I go up and see the baby, and she says, go home and see the kids. I think my sister or neighbor was here. See the kids, try to get some sleep. I slept for 2 hours. The phone rings. So Royals call me. You got to get on a flight tomorrow morning because you got to pitch in Seattle.
Adjust the rotation by 1,
I lost 2-1, by the way, in Seattle. Pitch a complete game, Then I got demoted to the bullpen.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was nice.
As your career is starting to, move towards its end, you come to Kansas City, a Midwestern place. It must have been, I imagine, a good feeling. I mean, although pitching in Boston was a great thing.
This is heaven. This is heaven. I love the Midwest, number one. Love Kansas City. Always loved the fans. I loved here pitching against the Royals, and I love pitching for the Royals, and I love living here. This is home. And you see why so many players stay here.
Right.
It's great. It's great. Everybody said, why don't you move back to Iowa? I said, nope. I'm going to die right here. I'm going to die in Kansas City.
You went to Milwaukee for the last year of your career,
Yep.
And at what point did you just say, this is enough?
I didn't say it was enough. At the time, I got called in. Sal Bando called me in and said, listen, we're going to go young.
Right.
You got a choice between we'll trade you any place you want to go, or you can retire with full pay. I said, trade me to Kansas City. He went, I can't do that. I said, well, it looks like it's full pay then, Sal.
Right.
And he said, not a problem. We'll take care of it.
And so did you feel like you were done, or was it difficult?
No, I could have pitched a couple more years. But it was good. It was really good. I got to be with my family.
Right.
And one of the great things was I started throwing batting practice for the Royals. So I'd go in and throw batting practice.
And have that feeling sort of being...
I'm still seeing the guys, and I'm still throwing.
Right.
And I shower up and go, hey, guys, see you. I'm going to go home barbecue. And they all going, screw you. I'd like to be barbecuing,
Right.
Yeah. I never missed it. I never missed the competition.
So you didn't?
No. I'm one of the weird ones.
Right.
I really am.
How old? So when you retire, you're only 35 years old.
36.
And how old are your children at that point? So it's kind of somewhat perfect. I'd say what?
Yeah, well, it wasn't sad because when I started throwing batting practice, my youngest got to come out and kind of shag. Richie Dower was one of the coaches, and
right.
he would catch balls from him. My youngest was really good ball player, and he could catch balls thrown in from the guys, and so he got to experience that little bit.
So that's the only regret, that maybe if you played a couple more years.
Yeah, he would have got a little bit more of
that.
Yeah.
Right.
But it turned out great. It really did.
Now, you were obviously wise with what you did, and you had your money, and
yeah, we didn't spend money,
and so your subsequent life after baseball was maybe different than others who seem to need to have something to fill that void. Did you ever go through a period like that?
No. I got my farms. I coached quite a bit. I did some coaching, college, and a little bit of college. A lot of high school coaching at Aquinas, St. Thomas Aquinas. Little league, all the way through with the kids, and it was great. It was great. Danny, I'm the most blessed person in the world. I really am. Got to experience every little boy's dream, playing Major League Baseball. Made good money, not like they're making now, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. They can have the $20 million.
Well, what you did with your money is... allowed you to do as you please after baseball.
The year I played, I'm so blessed to be played in that era. And I got to play with George and Robin Yount and against Nolan Ryan, all these great players. I got a great family. I got a great home. I made it through cancer, like you. We
were talking for 20 minutes before we started about that.
Yeah, and so think about it. I'm blessed.
Just on a different note, you've always been a singer.
No, not really. No,
come on, you're a singer, and you've recorded at times.
I sing. I sing in the choir.
Right, sing in the choir.
Yeah.
When did
I blend?
Develop?
I'm bland. I blend. Let me put it that way.
Did you develop that through your life, or did you start singing at an early age?
No, I never was a singer. No.
What inspired you to do a little singing?
I love music.
Right.
And I envy anybody that's got a great voice. I really do. I think it's beautiful. I can't read music.
Right.
Which is very difficult when you're trying to sing in a choir. and understanding your parts. It was a situation where my youngest was in junior high, and he was a star athlete, and everybody kind of looked up to him. And the music teacher come up to me, approached me up at school and said, listen, we have no boys in the choir, in the school choir. Is there any possible way you can get James to join the choir? 'Cause he says if he joins, the rest of them are going to fall right in line.
Right.
And we'll have boys. We'll have 10, 15 boys. So I come home. I said, I'll talk to him. I approached him. We're sitting at the dinner table. He said, listen, yeah, I'll do it. He says, but you got to try out for the ensemble choir at church. And I went, what? He went, yeah, you love singing, and you follow the music and stuff like that, and you sing in church. And I said, okay, I'll tell her. So I went up and I said, listen, here's the deal. He'll do it, but you got to try me out for this. And at the time, there was only like 3 guys in the ensemble choir. And so I went through all of her things, and I said, okay, we're done, right? You don't have. She goes, no, you're on the choir. I went, no, that's not what that's not where I was going with this. Right. But it turned out good. Yeah, I enjoy it. I'm not good. It's kind of like baseball. I'm just so.
You mentioned we both are cancer survivors. Right about the same time, we had very similar operations.
Pretty much so, yeah.
And treatments and things like that.
Yep.
And we're both pretty matter of fact about the process. But I think we both learned something. What did you learn?
Well, I know I'm going to die.
Right.
And everybody kept saying, are you afraid to die? No, I'm not. I raised a beautiful family. My kids are grown. I have 9 grandkids now.
Right.
Everybody's taken care of. Everybody's good. I had a great life. And I never felt like I was going to die from this.
Right.
And so I never even thought about it. I fought through, and it was hell, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, it was hell, but I'm going 7 years now, so pretty blessed. And whatever happens, happens. I'm playing with house money, brother.
And finally, just a fun note. Did you really carry a 32-pound fish?
Yes, I did.
Around an entire road trip?
Yes, I did.
How did this work?
Mike Flanagan got traded to Toronto, and we used to fish together when I was in Baltimore. We used to go up to upstate New York and fish for steelhead and trout and salmon.
Right.
We'd take a trip, just me and him. And so he gets traded to Toronto, and Tom Hankey and Stottlemyre, they all used to go to I think it's the Credit River there in Toronto. I mean, it's a park.
Right.
And they'd fish. And Flanagan goes, we're going to go out fishing. Come on, we're going to go out fishing. I said, I didn't bring you clothes. I'm in a suit. I got to go to the ballpark. He goes, no, come on. So I'm in a suit and a tie. And I'm standing on the edge of the Credit River, and I catch this 32-pound salmon. He goes, man, that's a monster. We got to get it mounted. And Stottlemyre went in to help me get it out.
Right.
So he says, I got a taxidermist up here. Don't worry about it. Well, I'll get it taken care of. You can get it next time in. I go. So I didn't think about it. I said, okay. Next time in, he brings the fish into the clubhouse. I'm going, wait a second. We're going to New York next. I said, okay. So we leave Toronto, and I'm carrying this 32-pound salmon mounted on this plaque. I got it in the basement. You can see it. And I carry it. I put it in the seat next to me. In the flight, and we got a charter flight, and but then I'm walking into the Grand Central Hyatt carrying a 32-pound mounted salmon.
Nice.
Yeah, it was.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can you fish this place out here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got crappies and bass and bluegill and catfish.
Well, I'm not a fisher, I'm not a hunter, but I'm a fan of MIke Boddicker. I'll say that, and I appreciate you taking the time. And this has been just great. And I know everybody's going to.
I'm glad to hear you back on and doing your gig with Petro.
Well, we want everybody to make sure they take the time to listen to this gig on DannyKlingskill.com too.
Yes.
Along with
even though he did interview me, listen to it.
Kansas City Profiles features MIke Boddicker today. It's been a pleasure, Mike.
It's been great. Thanks, Danny.
This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like Easton Roofing, the presenting sponsor of Kansas City Profiles at the Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast, Easton Roofing, where integrity matters.